Welcome to the 2017 Atom Updates. My name is Mark Preco, the president and founder of Atom Software, and it's my pleasure today to introduce to you the Atom Updates going into the new year. In front of you right now, you should see the outline of the Atom Update, so hopefully you have a copy of that in front of you and you can follow along with it. And what I'd recommend is areas that are applied to your office, then go ahead and maybe put a check mark by there, and you can come back to this video later and make sure that that you're following along and you understand them properly. Let me put you on hold 1 second. I'm hearing some feedback. Just 1 minute. Okay, sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was muted. So, okay, let's begin. All right, so as I was going over, here's the outline. And as I was recommending, if you see or hear anything that applies to your office, just make a check by it and then come back to it, because we'll be going through it fairly quickly. And also, as you notice, there's under each one of the features, there's a setup, and it kind of directs you to the admin page where you can set that up. So I won't be showing you how to set it up, but we have training videos throughout the software that will show you, will give you firsthand knowledge on how to set these features up. Okay, so let me, are you guys, could someone, are you guys getting feedback? Can you hear someone else on the other line? I just want to make sure everyone can hear me okay. If somebody could just send me a message.
I hear you fine.
Okay, could you, could you mute yourself? Just
sure. That's probably what it is, right? Okay.
No, I mean, I'm not going to keep on the stand the next, but if you don't want the copies back, then I'll...
And you guys will be able to, if you want to ask questions, don't do them vocally, just type them in, and then Mandy and Dwan will be answering them throughout the presentation. And then we'll keep it open at the end too, so if you want to continue to send questions, we'll stay on as long as we can.
You know what her mute button is? Yeah. They're getting feedback from us.
Are you able to find the mute button? Is it toward the top?
Yeah, we're working on that right now.
Okay.
I apologize.
That's okay.
I'm using somebody else's phone, and someone's looking at it.
We also have one down here under lobby management. So as we discuss the updates, you'll see we have a lot of new changes regarding the lobby too. So we have a section just strictly lobby management. All right, but those are all going to be located in the help under training videos. So you're not going to have those yet. You're going to have to wait till your software gets updated before you'll see the new videos. Okay, now we're getting into login to check-in. So under login, now there's going to be a password requirement. So you're going to have to change your password. So if I go here to log out, so we're going to default it to every 90 days. You can change it to whatever you'd like. If you don't want to have that kind of password protection, you can just leave it blank on the company page, and you won't have any restrictions to your, you'll never have a required to change your password. But when we send it to you, we're going to default it to 90 days. So every 90 days, your employees are going to be required to change their password. Also, the temporary passwords. So as you, make sure I get signed back in here properly. Okay, so when you set up all your new employees and you give them a new password, as soon as the first time they log in, that's going to be considered a temporary password, and Adam's going to have them change their password to whatever they'd like it to be. So if anybody forgets a password and you go into the user page, and right here when you create a new password for that client or that employee, I'm sorry, when the first time they log in, they're going to be required to change their password to make it more secure so that only they will know their password. New link on the login page. Let me get back to here. So it'll say if you're trying to reach the client portal, click here. So this is a good way of knowing if your software, when your software gets updated. So when you go to log in, you're going to see this new link down here. So what this is, when your clients are on the client portal, if they leave that idle for 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, it's going to time them out automatically. And what it's been doing is taking them to the login page, your login page where you log in every day. So that was confusing them. So there's no way we can take them to their client portal login page. It's going to default back to this page. So we have a link here. Now they can get back to the client portal very easily just by clicking on this link. Now they're going to be taken right to the login page, because we got a lot of calls where the client would say, I'm trying to log in with my social and my password, and it's asking me for a site, and this isn't working. And I always wondered how they got to that page, but that's how they were getting to the page, is it was timing them out on the portal because it was remained idle for too long, and then they defaulted back to this page. So that's what that link is for. Let me just get logged back in here. Get my password in here, right? Okay. Next, okay, so we have the check-in message screen. So let me get to my check-in page. And here we go. So my check-in screen, when I go ahead and check somebody in, so I will, as many of you know that the screen is, it's going to greet the client, obviously, and now you can customize the message on this. You could do that before, but now we have a text editor there, so you can actually add color to it. You can bold it, you can enlarge it, you can put the little smiley face on there. So you can customize it to whatever you like, but we added a text editor to make it even better, so add a little color and make things stand out more. And again, that's done in admin in the check-in message page. Now we have a new screen called Lobby Tracker. And let me get to the right screen here. Not that one. Too many screens now. Okay, so this is our lobby tracker. So if you have a busy lobby, if you do walk-ins, or even if you have appointments, and your clients are asking you, what's the average wait time? Where am I in the position of this, the queue? This now you could have a dedicated monitor or TV. It might be, we want it fairly large so the clients can actually see it. And the information they're going to get is it's going to tell them where they are in line. It's going to tell them how long they've been waiting in line. So this is an individual that I just checked in. So they're walking, they'll tell them if they have an appointment or not. And the comments, it's going to say, please see receptionist. So if you have Adam set up that you require an ID, and if the ID is expired, you want to be alerted to that, it'll say, please see receptionist. So then this client would go see the receptionist, and then the receptionist then can update their ID. So if they have the ID and everything's current, then there'll be nothing in here saying, please see the receptionist. You can also, on the client identifier, right now I have it listed that we can show it's just the client's first name and their last initial. If you want to you could show just the last four of their social if you don't want to display the name. And you can control that on the company page. So I believe I left that off under the setup. So if you want to write that in for admin company, and it's titled display first initial and last name. So you have to have that checked. So I have that checked right now on my company page. Also, if you'd like this page, but you don't really want to remind the client how many minutes they've been waiting, you can actually shut off the wait time too. And that, again, that's on the company page. You can do that. Down below here, we have average walk-in wait time. So again, so if your clients walk in and they want to know what's my average wait time, you can give it to them right here. But also we have listed the last walk-in customer served. So this will display when the last person was served. So then that's really maybe a true reflection of how long they're going to be waiting. Because say if you have 5 people walking right now, obviously your average wait time is going to drop significantly. So that's what that's for right there. And then lastly, where we have this message, free money when you refer friends and family to X-Tax, you can actually customize this page to put whatever message you want at the bottom. So here in this example, I'm advertising our Refer a Friend program. So, I'd recommend doing that. So if you're going to have a TV or a monitor displaying, even if there's nobody in your lobby at the time, you can always have your message, whatever message you'd like to have displayed. And again, that's done in the company page in admin. All right, the next page we have, again, we call this a lobby tracker. And this one, we have this displayed actually on our website. So it's a link on our website right now. And I can actually maybe show that to you because these are fairly new. So if I go to X-Tax, our website right here, and where I put it, and again, this is new for this year, so I'm kind of experimenting. Right here I say, click to see our lobby wait time. That, when I click there, this is the page it's going to display. So it's going to show our sites. It'll display our work hours for the day. It'll say if the office is closed or open. It's going to tell me how many people are actually in each lobby waiting. And it's just going to be the walk-ins, not going to be the appointments, because normally the appointments are going to be seen as soon as that that preparer is free, and that's going to give the average wait time. So if I can direct my clients to go to our website as opposed to calling the office, they can actually see which office is open and which one's not, and what the wait time is. And again, it's going to give the waiting time to last customer serve, so they'll have a good idea how long they're going to wait if they want to come in the office right now. And again, this is going to be set up. You're going to have new URLs, and we'll probably send you the links, but you can also look down here and you can see the links and just replace the X's where it says Adam underscore and it's got 3 X's. That would be your Adam code, but we will send you the links too, so you have those. And again, you can customize the message right down here too, so this can be advertised. And lastly, another setup I didn't put on here is where you see the office hours, 9 to 9, and closed and open. This is all feeding from your appointment calendar. So if I go back to my page, right here under appointments. So if you haven't been using these hours, setting your time scale, 9 to 5, if I switch over to South Cedar, I'm 9 to 9. That's where it's controlling whether I'm open and what my hours are. So if you're going to be using this page, you want to make sure your appointment calendar is up to date on your hours. All right, so that's the new lobby page for that. All right, now I'm getting to, I'm out of order here, page 2. Let me pull up, hold on, bear with me here while I find my second page. I have to open it up right here. Okay, so I have my office events. So we have the edit office event fields from the home page. So if I were to go to my reviewer page, my office events, if I select the edit pencil, now many of the fields are going to be opened up here. I could change my difficulty, my prep time, referral type. If I scroll over here, I can the event due date, my event user. So I can edit those from the home page where I wasn't able to edit many before. And we added the following features to all the office events, the master checkbox. So if I were to make this, switch this over to all, now from any one of my office events, I can check this box. Say I want to move everyone to a different, change their office event status. I can do that easily. So before we had this on many of the office events, we didn't have it on all of them. Now they're on all of them. The user field, default to all users or the individual user per event. So as you see right here, up here at the top, user, I'm seeing all my client, all the clients in here, regardless of which event user they are. If I want to strictly look at just mine, I select just my name, Mark, and now it's just going to display mine. That's why it says 1/7. So there's 1 under my name, but there's a total of 7. And if you look up here, so tax preparation, it's the same way, 1/4. Now, normally I won't show you how to set this up, but this is a little tricky, so I want to make sure you understand this. This is feeding off of what we call the event user. So here it says Mark, and I can override this. And how this event user is created, I'm going to go into the file here in the status. And if I'm the user and I change this event, then I'm considered the event user. I can override it by just selecting the edit pencil inside the event, and now I move this to, say, let me move it to Colleen Frico, and then I save it. Now I go back to my home page. And now if I look under reviewer, now it shows 0/7 because now I don't have any under my name anymore. But in all, there's a total of 7. So I just wanted to point that out because I don't know if I have it in any of the training videos, but it's the event user right here. That's what's keying, that's what's filtering this up here. All right, link directly to notes, tasks section. I'm gonna go back to all. So right here, if you see under this Beth Smith, here's my notes. It's highlighted in yellow. It means I have an open note. If I just left click on this, I'm going to shoot right into that client's file, right to the task notes information section. Then highlight folder icon when uploads are not done. Let me switch this back to all. So right here again, Beth Smith. So this is new. I have my documents folder right here. It's highlighted in yellow. And what that means is when I click on the link, I now have a done feature for this upload, and so it's not completed. So maybe this is something that I need to enter at a later date, and I could check it off. I'm gonna follow up on this when I strictly go over the account upload. So I just wanted to point out on the upload page here, or the Office event page here, that this is highlighted in yellow, meaning that there's an upload that's not considered done. Predefined notes. I'm gonna go to my rejects Office event to explain this. So we've added the predefined note to the bottom. Right here, this is the exact same predefined note it's inside the client file in the Office event section. So now by putting it here, what I can do is I can select multiple clients at one time, and I can say I left message, and I just hit set, and this will automatically update their note box right here at the exact same time. So I can do it to multiple clients at the same time by having the predefined note down here. So this would be useful for check pickup. If you call multiple clients or send texts to them, this is how you can document the file very quickly. Send invoice via email, text. Let me go to my cashier's Office event. So now we've added a button called send invoice. And so as long as you have the email or cell phone number or cell phone provider, you're able to actually send us, it's not the actual PDF of the invoice, but what it is, it's a message that you can customize, and you can put the dollar amount, the balance due that they owe, and if you want to actually say that the invoice is on their portal and you use the client portal, you can direct them to the portal by putting the portal link in there. So if I check this box here and I hit send invoice, give me one, and I'll say invoice sent successfully. And if I go into John's file, go down to my transaction information section, and then right here, again, I could send an invoice from here too, and we'll cover that later. But if I click on the number 3, this is going to display what message was actually sent. So it's saying, Dear John, thank you for your business. To view your invoice for $230 or download a PDF copy, click on the following link. So this link is going to take them to their login page to the portal, and then this balance due is feeding directly off the transaction information section. And you can also customize this. So this one I told it to highlight in green to stand out more. So the text editor is in there too. And you can do all this in admin under the email text templates. The move to, let me get back to my Office events. So we also have a move to feature. So if I want to move this, we had the move to before, but we didn't have all the Office events listed. Now we have every single Office event listed. So before, some of the events, Office event screens didn't have every single event. Now they're all listed here. So it doesn't matter which Office event you're in, you can move it to change the status to any of them. Predefined notifications. So right here we have, let me get down to my rejects. Scroll down here to the bottom. So I can send a predefined notification. So if I check this box from here, and what a predefined notification is, we're going to get into that again a little later when we're inside the client file. If I select this button, it's going to launch like an email box, and from here I've already created some predefined messages based on the Office event reject. So I select here, I could say dependents claimed. It's going to automatically give me a subject heading. It'll say dear client. Now it's going to because I can do multiple clients with this. So when I send this, it's going to actually have the client's name right here. And this is a message that I've already set up. Your return rejected by the IRS. Your dependents already claimed another tax return. Please contact us. And you can have your company information. And it can go out. It's going to go out as an email up here, and then down here it'll go out as a text. So all I have to do is hit send, hit OK, and I must not have let me close this out. Maybe I didn't have a cell phone or email in one of those fields, but I could do multiple clients at one time using the send predefined notification. And it'll get logged right here too. Again, just like before all we had was what we called the instant notification, where you could send out an instant message, but you could never choose which message you'd want to come out. And also when I do this, one thing more I want to point out, send predefined notification. So if I were to say tax return status, I can actually edit this too. So I could change this to whatever I'd like. And then I can send it. So you can edit it on the fly and send it off, or you can just leave whatever you've created, whatever message you've already created in admin. New column in the email cell phone provider. I got to go to a different demo to show you this, because we haven't pushed it to this one yet. So if I go into whichever, let's go into tax preparation. Let me see if I have any in here. I think I have an pending client. Oh no, miscellaneous 5. Sorry. So we have a column. This was labeled email, and we just, if you recall, it just had an X, and that meant if we had either the cell phone or we had the email, it would put an X there. So now we've gone a little further, and so now it will actually tell you exactly what you have. So do you have the email, do you have the cell phone, and do you have the cell phone provider? So if you're missing one of these, you'll know that. So in this example, I might be able to send a text, which we'll cover later, but I can't send an email because I don't have an email for this person. So this column is going to be on every single Office event page. Whereas before, the email column was not on every Office event page, and it did not specify what exactly you had, either cell phone, email, or the provider. So now it'll tell you that on the Office event page. Next, we have this new completed log. If I go to my home page, so scrolling down toward the daily log, which we've always had, now we have what we call a completed event log. So this is going to show me every client that was completed today. And it'll carry on until you clear this out. So down here it says 7/151. So I have a total of 7 were completed today and a grand total of 151 for the year. It's going to display just what was today. So I have the 7 here, and if I want to go see everything, I can click on for all days. See all 151, or I could even go to a specific. Let me go back to all day here. And actually at a calendar, I could actually go to a specific day if I'd like to see what was completed that day. And it's going to give me a total also. So I can get walk-ins, appointments, and then total money coming in also from that. Going down the list here, I have the daily log. So let me click on my daily log here. So before, the daily log actually defaulted to the whole year or all days. Now we've changed it to default to today, and then you can always switch it over to all days. But typically, I always like to go to the daily log to see what was going on today, and that's kind of why it was named daily log, so you can see what happened today. So link to notes and tax right here. So again, we have the note icon. I just click on that link. It's highlighted yellow, meaning there's an open task note. And it'll go right into the client's file down to the task notes information section. Highlight block clients. So as you know, a block client is shaded in brown. So now you can just see on your daily log which clients that you may have completed that day that were actually blocked for whatever reason. And then also Spanish speaking clients. So they're highlighted in purple, which you know, it was always worked throughout all the office events, the highlighting did, but it didn't in the daily log. So now the daily log is also reflecting whether they're Spanish speaking or they're blocked. Okay, moving on to page 3. Up at the top here we have my messages. So let me get to my demo here. Home page. So all we did is last year we added the drag and drop feature, and we really liked it. So now we pretty much anywhere you can upload a document, you can now do the drag and drop feature. So I just hit compose message. I'm going to scroll down here and open up my folder, and then I can just drag this in here just like before. And again, just to refresh your memory, if you want to do both, you can do both at the same time by selecting the shift key and then highlighting both of them and dragging them all in here. Then when you hit attach file, you know, then they all get attached up here. So all we did is just add the drag and drop to your composing message in my assigned task, or I mean my messages, I'm sorry. Office overview, the client portal message. Now we're over here in office overview. So the client portal message, so in this example we have 4 new messages. I'm going to left click. And from here I can, again, we did this predefined message. We found it so helpful as we were using this over the summer that we found ourselves typing the same message over and over again. So now we just went ahead and anywhere we could send a message out to our clients, we pretty much were allowing you to create predefined messages so you don't have to type them over and over again. So in this example, we have John Casey. He's sending me a document. So if I go ahead and view, you know, of course I can view the document. I could close it. But if I reply, maybe I want to tell John, you know, we got everything okay. Now we're going to work on your tax return. So instead of having to type it, down here, predefined messages, I can say docs received. And it's going to put John's name in here. You know, and it's whatever message that I put. So we've received your documents. We'll begin working on your tax return as soon as possible. Thank you for choosing X Tax. And I go ahead and just send it off. So at the same time, that's going to close that out, and then he gets that message sent to him. Well, he's going to get an email sent to him, and then he's going to log into his portal, and he'll see your message. So if you find yourself typing the same message over and over again, I'd recommend going and setting this up in admin. Assign multiple client portal messages. So as you know, you could always assign a portal message to an individual employee. Now you can do multiple ones. So if you have a client sending, as you know, when they send you documents, they usually do one at a time. So you might have 20 messages here. So now you can just go ahead and check the box and assign it to one person. So I'll assign it to myself here, assign. So now it's considered read. So it's not showing it's a new message anymore. And now it's going to be right down here under assigned. So it's just a way of just assigning messages very quickly. Prospect message, we kind of did the exact same thing. So I have 2 new prospect messages, and again, the prospect messages, if it's, say it's coming in from your website, clients ask you questions like how much do you charge, then all I have to do is I hit reply. And again, I have my predefined message down here, so I have it set tax prep fees. So we just kind of give a generic message. It's going to, again, put the prospect's name right here, and then whatever message I want. So our fees vary depending on complexity of the return, and I give it kind of an average of what our fees are, and then I can blast it out. So if you're, you know, during tax season, you're very busy, especially during peak, but you don't want to lose any business, so you want to make sure you answer these prospects coming in because you want to try to win them over as a client. So we've made it so you can set up these messages in advance so your receptionist can just go ahead and send them off as they continue to see clients ask or prospects asking questions. And again, you can assign by just checking the box, selecting this. If you have multiple prospect messages, you can assign it to whomever you'd like, either one or multiple ones, same way I just demonstrated up above in the client portal. And reply to and add a prospect at the same time. So say you want to start gathering information about these prospects and trying to win them over. Maybe you have a process when the prospect sends you a message, maybe then you send a a letter out to them to try to win them over, or you follow up with a phone call, whichever, but you want to put them in your software and to add them quickly so then you can start tracking them. So what we did is we have a reply here. So you can reply to them, and then I don't know, what did he ask? About a house. I'm just going to send out a select services. Okay, so I have a generic message going out. But over here at the top, now I have a button that says send and add a contact. So I can send this message back to him, to Johnny, and I can quickly add him as a contact at the same time. So I'm just going to select this button. So now he got an email sent back to him, and now I've captured all the data that he's already keyed in. Now it's being populated into the contact information section. So his phone number is now considered the access code. Here's his name. I have his email. So now I'm just going to go ahead and hit Save Contact. Now it's going to default it to the business type that I'm defaulted to. So in my user page, Mark, I've set up that I normally do tax prep. That's my business type. So it's going to default to that, but I'm just going to go ahead and switch it over to a business type called prospect that I've created. And I'm going to reset my office events. And what that does is it's going to delete any office events that were created under tax prep, and it's going to automatically recreate the new office events under prospect. So now I hit save. And so now I'm in a business type prospect. Now it's set up. It removed all the old office events that were set up under tax prep. And now from here I can just say follow up with a sales letter, whatever your protocol is, and then you're all set. So that's why it becomes very easy. You know, when you're very busy during tax season and you get these prospects coming through, you want to make sure you answer them timely. And then if you want to follow up with them later, you can quickly reply to them and then add them as a contact. And then you can even set it up so that you can send automatic messages going out to them, or emails or texts, once you set them up as a prospect. And we'll cover that a little later. Okay, moving to the next section, we have the search. So we have some new search criteria, and I'm going to go back to this other demo to show you that. So in the search page here, we've added nicknames and we've added DBAs. So now if you do a search for a nickname or a DBA, and I'm going to show you a little later in the contact information section where we're going to log these nicknames and DBAs into the client file, but just so you know, you can also search on them too. Schedule new client, first available preparer. So last year we introduced how you could schedule an existing client using first available preparer. So now you're able to do it as a new client. So I'm going to go ahead and type in a new client here. I want to schedule a client or appointment for this person. So Peter Stewart. Of course, I got to search first. So now these three buttons is what I used to have. Now I have a new one called one-click schedule. So what that is if I click on the one-click schedule, that's going to go right to today's calendar, or actually it'll go to the first available preparer. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be a week from now if you have a very busy calendar, and it'll automatically schedule an appointment, and it's going to default it to 60 minutes. And that's set up in your admin on the company page, what you want the default prep time to be. Now if I want a specific preparer, say they want to see Mark, from the drop-down menu, I'm just going to go ahead and pick Mark, and I'm going to hit one-click schedule. So it's going to go to the first available time for Mark. In this case, it's going to the 9th, and it's at 1:45, and I'm going to hit save. And then now it's scheduled. So based on what time it is now, and then it gives you like an hour leeway. So, I mean, obviously the client, if he schedules an appointment right now, can he get in here in 5 minutes? Probably not. I mean, they could possibly if they're close, but it'll give you like a 60-minute window before it'll actually schedule an appointment. So this should be helpful for those offices that have a very busy calendar and you have a hard time booking appointments for specific preparers or even any of your preparers. Now you can do it for your new clients as well as you can do it for your existing clients. Okay, search results. So I'm going to go into here, search page. So I'm going to search just for the name Smith, which we have a lot of those. So it used to sort this by access code or social security number or EIN number, which, you know, your names were kind of scattered throughout. It was rather difficult to find a specific person if this is how you're searching for them, just by last name. So now it's going to actually sort by the name column. So it's going to disregard your social security number. So it should make it easier for you. Highlight the folder icon when uploaded documents are not done. Again, we talked about that earlier on the home page. It works exactly the same way. So if I look here, I have Beth Ann Smith. If you see here, I have my documents folder icon is highlighted in yellow. What that means is there's a document that's checked not done. It's not checked yet. So just to alert to me that maybe I want to go ahead and take a look at that and see why it's not completed yet. Okay, moving on to page 4, contact information. So now I'm going to move into my contact information. And I'm going to pick a client that I have a spouse. So this should make a lot of people happy that use Drake, TaxWise, or Crosslink, because you can now edit the spousal fields. So as soon as we update your software, so you can put I can change, the name. So when a client comes in, if you want to add the spouse right away as opposed to waiting for that data to be pulled in from your EF data, you can do that. You can put but the nice thing is you'll be able to put phone numbers in here or an email addresses in here now. So as you know, this was blocked off. You couldn't do anything. So now we can edit this field. Let's hit save. So that should make your life a lot easier, especially when say the client comes in, and what has happened in the past is the taxpayer's name always comes forward and you don't see the spouse until you actually e-file that return, even though you had that client, say, for the last 10 years. Now the spouse will come forward, and say this client got divorced, the spouse will be removed when you e-file that tax return to show that they're just single. Or maybe they divorced and remarried, it'll show the new spouse for that year. But up until that point, until it gets e-filed, it's going to have the old data. So if you want to change it, you could always change it prior to that. Okay, now we have the nickname. So right here we have nickname. He goes by Bri or whatever. Okay, Julie. You can put a nickname in here too, and you just save it. So that now, as you notice, now we can do a search by nickname. So that's helpful. So that's where this is going to be pulled from. This is going to be tied to the first name. If I go into another client, if I go into business return, so KG Trucking, come down here, and so this is a business client. So you look, we don't have a taxpayer and spouse, so here I could just call it, Casey Trucking. So that's DBA, and save it. And again, you can search based on the DBA now and the nickname field. Date of death. Okay, let me get back. Let me go back to my individual. So if I'm Brian Smith here, we've added a date of death field. So if I go ahead and 2015, actually 16, I guess, I'll just leave it at 15. So what it's going to do, it's going to highlight in yellow, so it's easier to identify when the date of death. If it's a spouse date of death, when the client checks themselves in using the check-in screen, the spouse will no longer display. So I know that used to be a little troublesome for the spouse that was still surviving. It won't do that for the taxpayer though. So I mean, if the taxpayer, obviously the taxpayer won't be coming in checking themselves in because they died, but say the spouse does, it's still going to recognize, and it will show the taxpayer's name. So we're not able to do it off the taxpayer, but you can do it from the spouse. It won't show up on the check-in screen. All right, PIN field. Let's scroll over here. So here's the PIN field, which that was, introduced last year, but now it's going to have an asterisk. So as you know, when you put the PIN in there for the e-signature, it was blank. Now it's going to actually show an asterisk like the password, so at least you know there is a PIN there. So if I type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I hit save, now the asterisks are going to display. You're not going to be able to see what the PIN is, but at least you know you've entered a PIN with the asterisks there. Okay, permanent documents page. We made a lot of changes to that, but we made the exact same changes to the account documents page. So instead of doing the same thing twice, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down to the account documents page, and I'm going to demonstrate all these features there, and it applies to the permanent documents page too. So I'm going to go into this John Casey's file, and a quick way to get to the account documents page, as you know, I just click on the folder icon, shoots me into the account documents page for that particular year. So the very first one, we have default client access by upload type. So over here, file access, you see we have full access, full access. So I can actually, what I had to do before is I'd have to select the edit pencil if I want to give someone access to, and then I would then select it here. I'm just going to go ahead and give them no access right now so I can show you what I mean. So I save it. So what I found ourselves having to do, we had multiple documents that the client wanted to see, and I had to continually edit, and do it. So now I can just check a box. I can come down here and I can give them access, and then I hit set file access, and now they have full access. So you can control whatever you want. So say I want to give them limited access. I hit limited access and set the file, and now they've all switched. So it's a way of allowing me to do it to multiple documents at the same time without having to edit. Now I also can, over here, notifications, say you want to give the client access to like these 3 documents, okay? Well, the way it was before is I would select the edit pencil, give them access, save it, email gets sent to them saying you have a document available to you, click here to go to the portal. So if I did it 3 times, they would get 3 separate emails, which is kind of annoying to the client. Now you can shut that off in a couple different ways. One, if I want to shut it off here, I'll just go ahead and hit disable, and whatever I have checked, I hit set notification, and now I've automatically disabled my email notification going out to the client, and I can quickly turn that back on too if I want. So I can do it that way for multiple clients at the same time, or if I want to do it, say I'm uploading a document for the first time, or actually I'm going to go ahead and do that for the first time. So say I browse, or I could drag and drop, which tax return, label it tax return, and I'm giving them access to it, and I'll explain this, how it did this in a second, but I want to disable notifications. Say I don't want to annoy this client, he's got enough reminders to him that I put documents out there and I just hit save. So I can do it on an individual basis right here. Oh, here it is up here at the top. Or I can do it multiple at the same time using this feature right here. Now I jumped ahead a little bit, but the second one is predefined note by upload type. So again, I'm going to browse, I'm going to grab this, I'm going to label this tax return. And I've created these predefined notes over here. Make sure predefined note by upload type. Right, okay, so here I can say it's a draft. So my note automatically gets displayed. So this is what the client's going to see when I give them access to it. All right, or I can go ahead and if I want to change this, switch it over to final. So again, if you find yourself typing the same thing over and over again, you can go ahead and create a predefined note based on the upload type. And again, that's an admin in your upload types. Over here, which is displaying, this on page, one of the other features, as you notice when I selected tax return, my client access automatically said limited access. So I set that up in admin and upload types too, that based on this upload type, I always want to give it limited access. So you can do that for anything, any kind of upload you want. If you always want it to default to no access, you can do that. And in fact, that is going to be the default when we send you when we make these changes to your, but if you want to go in and say for tax returns, I always want to give the clients access to it. And so instead of you having to do it every time, now you can set it up so it automatically does it based on this upload type. Okay, make sure I'm not missing anything. That's customize email, text message by upload type. Okay, number 3 on the account documents page. So the way we've had it before, so if I upload and if I give a client access to the tax return, you know, an email always got sent to them saying your company just gave them access to a document is what it said. You had no control over what the message said. Now you can control the message. So every single upload type, you can customize the message that's being sent to the client. So if you have a tax return you upload and you want to specify that it's a tax return, you can do that in the subject heading and in the body. You can do whatever you want. You customize. You can control it based on upload type. So a nice thing for for e-sign. So if you're using our e-sign, select e-sign here. You can customize that email that gets sent to them saying, you know, your company just put a document out, or so you can be descriptive and say the 8879 to be electronically signed, and then this is how you do it. And you can put instructions on it and maybe say your PIN's going to be the last 5 of your social security number or whatever you want to do. So you can customize the email that's being sent based on upload type. So it's going to default to what's been going out always, but you'll just go to admin upload types and you can change whatever you'd like. Default uploads is done. Same as over here as we've been talking about. As you notice, these are yellow, highlighted in yellow. And what that means is this, as we said, they're not done. So say if a client sends you a document and you haven't had a chance to work on it yet, you can make sure you mark it, uncheck it, so that easily that you see what needs to be done and what doesn't. Or maybe when you're reviewing tax returns, you can come in and check them off as you review them so you know which documents you reviewed and you haven't. So you can also do that in upload. So if I upload say I'm gonna browse here and I upload my tax return, you notice this box automatically gets checked because I've had it specified that the tax return, I'm going to make sure I'm going to show it's done. But you can control that in admin whether you want it done or not done. Set file access to multiple documents. We covered that already. Moving on to page 5, drag and drop files. You notice here we have the drag and drop feature, exactly what I demonstrated before. You just drag the files in here and they'll automatically go in here as opposed to just having to browse. You can still browse though, do it exactly the same way you've always done it. Description text box increased from 225 characters to 2,000, so now you can put quite a few notes in here. Same way like if you do the e-sign, you can put notes in here too because the client will see these notes on the portal. We just enlarged it, that's all. Disable email text notifications. I already explained that. Disable or enable text on multiple uploads at the same time. Again, right over here, you just check the boxes over here. E-sign tracking enhancements. So what we've done here is we've moved the e-sign. It's got its own column. And as you check the box e-sign for the client or e-sign for the spouse, it's going to actually track how many days it's been sitting out there that hasn't been signed yet. And then once it gets signed, I'm going to move to 2014 for this client. It'll then highlight in red e-sign by client. So it's making it easier for you to see that this client has e-signed the 8879 or they haven't e-signed the 8879. Okay, now we're in the office event section. We get back into the client file. Copy office events when adding account years. So if you find yourself, let me go to probably, this is going to be more related to bookkeeping. I believe I'm going to go into the KG trucking for this client. So if they're doing, say, I guess we have it labeled, let me go down here to 2016. Monthly payroll. So if I want to add a new year for this client, say I want to go into 2017 and I want this office event to copy over into 17, I can just come over here, select the edit pencil, and then right here under copy, I'll go ahead and do it. I'll just show you how to do it. I'm not going to actually demonstrate it, but how to set it up. So it's going to default to don't copy, copy, or copy. I mean, it defaults to don't copy unless you want to set this up in admin. You can actually say if this office event, you always want to copy it into next year or when you add a new year, you can set this up so it automatically would say copy. So if I say copy and close, that means I'm going to close this office event and it automatically will copy into the new year when I add a new year. So it's just a way of copying your office events when you add a new year. And you can set up the defaults again in your admin under the office events. Billable column. And this one, I got to jump over to other demo to show you this. So we've updated our billable column. Let me go into this client family barbershop here. Click on the status payroll. So we'll see if this will be helpful for you. This is another way of, if you want it right now, I mean, tracking your billable time, you can still do it in the punch clock like you always have. If it works better in Office Events, you can try to do it here. But you can actually, over here in this column, billable, you can put a rate in, and again, you can default it to the rate. You can put budgeted hours, so that's new. So say if you want to track, if you think it should take 5 hours to do payroll, you can log the actual hours. So and then the variance is going to be the difference between budgeted and actual, so you can keep track if you're staying in your budgeted time. And then it's going to give you a dollar amount. This dollar amount is just your actual times your rate, the 200 down here. So as you continue to do payroll month and month again, if it's monthly payroll, again, you'll put the actual hours, and you can then run it. You can see if you're actually staying within budget or not. And at the bottom here, it's going to give you a total for all billable columns. So billable amount, again, this is going to be the actual times whatever the rate is, your budgeted hours or what you're plugging in. Your actual hours are going to be what the work you actually did, and so you can see if you're staying above or below your budgeted hours. So it's just a way of using your Office Events if that's more helpful to you. Event notification on start date. I'm going to jump back to this demo here. And let's see what I'm going to be in. I'm going to go to my pending home page. And rejects. Okay, so let me take a look at this top Dan here. So he rejected, and I have it set up that this is going to go out, I think, every 2 days to remind him he needs to contact us so we can fix his rejected tax return. So right now I have 20, this one I have 26, so it might be a point where it's like, okay, I've stopped. I've already sent so many messages out. He's not he's not replying for whatever reason. Maybe I just want to restrict it to say 10. Now in admin, you can do that. So you can say after, whatever number you want to put on there, 10 messages just to stop these things. Let's not annoy our clients anymore. I'm sure they know they may have a busy schedule or whatever it is, but you can control it and shut it off based on whatever number of days you want. New event notification on end date. So we have event notification on start date, create a date, number of days, and now we have it on the end date. So when you end an Office event, maybe you want it when you move this Office event from rejects to say EF ready, you could send a message to them automatically saying that the problem has been corrected. We're now going to e-file your return if you want to do something like that. So it might be more appropriate for bookkeeping. Say once you're done with monthly payroll, you just want to let the client know that you finished. You can have that set up so as you end an event, you can have a message automatically go out to the client by text or email, and you set that up in admin. Spanish notifications, so all the notifications that we have, on start date, creation date, end date, now they can also go out in Spanish. So you're going to set that, obviously you got to set that Spanish message up because you can customize it, but it's all going to be triggered based on if you have the text box checked Spanish speaking. And if it's checked Spanish speaking, then the Spanish message is going to go out. If it's not checked Spanish speaking, then whatever language you have, the default message to go out will go out to the client. Predefined notifications, and we'll get inside the Office event here, inside the client file Office event. So for John Din, so highlight link. So this used to say instant notification, and as you recall, you'd click on this and an instant notification went out to the client, but you weren't able to you could customize it one time, but then the same message went out. Okay, so maybe it didn't apply to each client the same way. Now you can kind of pick and choose which message you want to send out. It's going to be highlighted in orange, meaning there is a message there. So all you have to do is click on the link. That's going to launch this message box or send client notification. And from here, again, you can pick and choose which message you want to go out. If I say dependents claimed, it's going to pre-fill it. I can send it. It's going to, address it to John. And again, I can change it. I can edit it within here. So if you want to be more specific per client, you can do that. And then you just hit send, and it goes out both as an email and as a text. Dynamic fields, when I go back to here again. So inside of admin, I'll go ahead and select this. So the dynamic field is going to be the client's name, so it's automatic. You don't have to put it in here. It's automatically going to grab their name. And when we talk about invoicing, you can get the balance due, and you can also get the client portal link. So if that's appropriate into messages you're sending to the client, you can actually have those pre-filled in there. So when you send an invoice, obviously it's related to have the balance owed in there. So moving on to number 6, page 6, upload file, predefined note per upload type. Okay, so the upload file, this is kind of, we're covering the same stuff, but right here, upload file, so it's just on the same page where all the contact information is. So I just browse. It works the same way as the account documents. So if I select tax return, and as you notice, these are all pre-filling in just like it did on the account documents page. And I also have the predefined note too, based on this upload type. So it's just, I can do the exact same thing on the upload file as I can inside the account documents, and that way I don't have to go to another page. Disable tax, same thing, I can disable. So if I want to upload this tax return, but I don't want this client to get an email telling him I just uploaded a tax return, I can just disable it right here too. Transaction information, so moving down in this client file. So email, text, invoices. Let me make sure I have an email. I do have an email set for him, and I have a cell phone number set for him. Okay. So this client has a balance due of $400. So over here where it says send invoice, I can go ahead and select and hit OK. And this client will get an email, and I must not have the, because I don't have the cell phone provider. So if I click on this link, this number 1, so it went to his email address right here. Again, it's addressing John, so it's a dynamic field, grabbing the client's name. The balance due, I've customized this so it shows the balance due, and I enlarged it and made it in green. And now I'm directing them to my portal where they can actually pay, because we're integrated with the, we set up the Atom. They can accept payments through Atom. So they can click on this link right here, get a copy of their invoice by logging into the portal, and they can also pay their balance due on the portal. So I have all these things linked into this message. Again, you customize that, and that's set up in admin under the email text templates. And you can have that shut off too. So if you want to make this inactive so you don't even see this, you can make that inactive in admin, and so this link won't even display. Record billable hours. Let me move to a different client to show you this. So this is for people that are tracking billable hours. And again, there's three ways you can do this. There's the punch clock, which you've been doing. Some of you may have used the office events. We've kind of enhanced that as I just demonstrated. And now lastly, we've put it in the transaction section. And the reason we put it down here is we had a lot of people say, I want to use your system to track billable hours, but I don't want to have to put the hours in the punch clock and then turn around and then have to do it again down to build an invoice. So what we did is we just had you put the hours right here in the transaction section, and it automatically builds the invoice at the same time. So if I just go ahead and hit fee monthly payroll, I can default that to the hours. I set that up in admin. So say it's always going to be 4 hours, I can change it. Say it was actually 5 this time. I can actually have my predefined note. So here's my note saying, telling the client what I actually did. And I've defaulted this is what the rate is. And I can always change that. Say, no, I want to charge them $300 this time. And then I hit save. So I've logged my hours. It's going to say the modified by is the person who's actually doing the work. And from here I can print an hourly invoice. So all I want to do is I just want to tell them, here's a transaction type, the date, here's my note, the number of hours, and here's my rate right here, and here's a grand total. I worked a total of 16 hours on this client for a total of $900, and I can send that out to the client. So then I don't have to put the hours in one place and then turn around here and build an invoice. I built the invoice, plus I put the hours in at the same time. So if this works for you, fantastic. If it doesn't, continue to do what you've been doing. but just wanted to let you know there's another way of tracking billable hours if this works better for you. Okay, new report, print hourly invoice, it's called that, organized by transaction type. If I go ahead and check the box, organized by transaction type, now if you have multiple transactions, say you're doing sales tax, you're doing 941 preparation, again, you just log all that in here, track the hours, and down here you're kind of building a little summary. So here I have 3 times I've done monthly payroll, total $900 I've charged, and here's my total hours right here. So that might be helpful for you too. Again, just log in the hours in the transaction section. Copy transactions, recursive checkbox. So this isn't new. We've always had the copy transaction and recursive. But before you had to hit the edit pencil in order to check this. Now you could actually check the boxes here and then just hit the update. And then it's automatically going to update. So then they would copy forward when you add a new year, or recursive as long as you have it set up in admin. This would just repeat, you know, every so many days based on what you have set up in admin. So it's just, you can check the box here and hit update as opposed to having to hit the edit pencil. Just a quicker way to do that. Other accounts. So the other accounts here are just going to show, let's see, they're going to display accounts for all business types. Folder icon, this is fairly straightforward. It's just going to display if the icons are not done, but to highlight the folder icon, there it is right there. And we've added the account type field right here. So if you're capturing data in the account type field, which is right up here in the account information section, it's going to display in the other accounts section. Task notes information. Scroll down here. If I have anything I can display here. Okay, so if I have a note, I'm going to go into, let me go into a different client's file here. Oh, let me go into John Casey's file here. Notes. So if I want to copy one of these notes forward, a task note forward to the next year when I add a new year, same as the office event, I can just do it on the fly and come over here and say copy and close, or just copy and leave them both open, and I can set this up in admin, you know, for this specific note type. I always want it to copy, whatever you'd like to do. So say if you have, in this example, I sold stock in 2016, this client did, and maybe I want to make sure that goes forward into his file in 2000 when he comes in for do his 2016 tax return. So when he comes in and checks himself in, I can have this automatically close and go ahead and copy into next year, so that I will make sure I see that next year when he comes in. So that could come in handy for you. New client notifications. So we just expanded the task notes section. So we have a new column called client notifications. So you can send notifications out here in the task notes section. So if it's not an office event, because we can do this in office events, but maybe it's a task note. So I was trying to think of what would I do. And again, this is new, so I'm sure we'll come up with something during tax season. But I said, well, how about a complaint? So the client calls in and complains, and I want to assure him that we're taking care of him or her. So I'll log the message. I assign it to whomever is the guilty party that, you know, had the problem. And then as soon as I save that, I can have it set up that upon creation, this client's automatically going to email or text. And again, I customize that email text. So just maybe say, you know, thank you for bringing it to our attention. We want to make sure that we're going to be taking care of your problem, and we'll be back in touch with you shortly. Okay, so that would be on creation. Then every so many days, I can have it set that if I still haven't taken care of it, that I'll send a note to him saying, you know, we're still working on it. You know, we'll be in touch with you shortly. And then lastly, I could just click on this, and I can send out a notification from whatever. I can pick and choose whatever I want. So say complaint follow-up second email. Again, it'll work exactly the same way the office event does. So you can kind of be creative when you'd want messages to go out to make it easier for yourself. Again, if you're saying the same message over and over again, you can customize it here and blast it out either by text or email through Adam. Set those all up in admin. Page 7. All right, we're getting there. Bear with me. Appointment scheduling. So I go to my appointment calendar. and display summary totals. So I'm going to go to show you really how this looks. If I go to the date, I'm going to go to February 10th. Okay, and I'll pick February 10th where we have more going on. So here I can get a total count. So we did 107 people walk through our door that day. 57 of them were walk-ins. So this might be helpful for you, one, to see what's going on in your office on a daily basis, but two, it's a good way of planning for next year to make sure you have enough staff on hand. And then you can also see, this isn't new right here, you know, track the appointments, how many came in, how many didn't, how many returning clients, how many were new, and if anyone's using your self-scheduling appointment calendar too. But these were added, the total count and total walk-ins right here. Display available employees regardless if they're on the calendar. So the way our calendar worked, if I click on the appointment calendar, you know, the calendar, as you know, if you're using it, it wouldn't display anything unless you had an appointment on it. Okay, so now at least it's going to display all the employees that are available to work that day over here, even if they don't have an appointment. So that might make it easier for your people scheduling appointments. They can actually see who's actually available to be scheduled. Now you still have to look in the drop down to see the hours right here. We tried to put that on there, but too much. It was just too much. There wasn't enough room for all that. So that way you'd have to get the hours, but at least you'll see the employees that are available to work that day. Appointment email confirmation. Someone pointed out to us that our subject heading wasn't appropriate, so we just changed the subject heading. It just says appointment confirmation. So when you want to confirm an appointment with a client, either when they book the appointment or maybe you want to do it the day of or whatever as a reminder, it just says appointment confirmation. So it can be both as a reminder and that you just booked the appointment for the client. The subject heading will be appropriate. Online scheduling, new clients. Let's see if I can find, there we go, new client appointment request. So we found that we were getting people that were scheduling or requesting appointments or sending us prospect messages, and they actually are current clients. So we're like, well, how do we prevent that from happening? So we'll see if this helps, but all we did is we put a red message saying this page is only intended for new clients. If you're an existing client, please click on the client portal to request an appointment. When they click here, they'll actually go to the client portal. So we did that for that, and we also did it for the prospect message page too, which we're going to cover a little later. I just figured I'll point that out. So it's just telling them if they're new existing client, don't use this page. Okay, online scheduling, we just talked about, referral type. The referral type on the online scheduling is a required field now because, you know, for our office, we always want to know how people heard about us to see what's working, what's not for our marketing campaigns. Work schedule. So on the work schedule, you can send emails. As you know, you could always say this client, you want to send them an email, let them know what their work schedule is. You could check this box and hit send, or save, I mean. Okay, they would get an email sent to them saying, you know, they're scheduled to work today. Now you can email all at the same time. So as long as they're verified, then they'll all be sent an email at the same time. Okay, moving on, client portal login. Let me get to that. Portal, here we are. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and log in. 3474. Okay, so when you guys give them a new password that you create inside of, or they generate a new password themselves that's temporary and they haven't created themselves, they're going to get, they're going to go to the page where they have to update their information, which I accidentally just selected the wrong page. 1 second here while I log back in. Okay, so all we did is we moved the password. When I click it up here, we move the password to the top right here. So when they actually log in, if they have a temporary password, it'll highlight right here at the top. It wasn't at the bottom, and they had to click the link, and so it was hard for them to find. So we just moved it up to the top, so make it easier for your clients to see. The main menu. Hopefully this doesn't log me out. Good. All right, the main menu, upload documents, drag and drop. So again, we just added the drag and drop feature for your clients too. All they're going to do is drag the files in, or they can do the browse, whatever they'd like. Same thing I demonstrated before. E-signature, we made a few changes there. So on the e-signature, if there's an e-sign required, or you're asking the client to e-sign their 8879, now it's going to display in red right here, e-sign required, to make it easier to see which link they need to click on. So they're just going to click on this link. They're going to shoot in this page, and this is the same. E-sign required. You'll left click on this, and what's changed is the IRS is requiring us to try to validate our clients, making it a little tougher to make sure that this really is the client signing the document. So they're going to have to type in their name, like they had to do before, their PIN, like they had to do before. But what's new now is they have to enter their birth date. Oops, I was putting the wrong one in here. Okay, the social. So I'm going to show you how it works. 013474, and then their birth date. And then it's going to ask them for the zip code. And then we just hit e-sign. Let's see if I got it all right. Okay, I did. So e-sign was successful, and then of course you get the printer icon like before, so they can see like their signature certificate. So you're going to give 3 attempts. So the IRS said, I'll let you do it. Just try this 3 times. If they get it wrong 3 times, they're going to be directed to come back to your office. I mean, just contact your office so they can try to do it again. And then at that point, you either can tell them to come in, or if you reset their PIN, they're going to get another 3 tries. So anyway, we had to add a few more fields of data on the client to make sure it matches properly, to make sure that's really the client signing and not somebody else. Page 8, prospect portal landing page. I covered that already. They have that new warning page. You want to make sure that just your new clients or new prospects are actually keying that in, not existing clients. And the referral type is required on that also. Admin, client email text log. So if I go to admin, right here, client email text log. So you can now look up, you can look and see how many emails or texts go out per day or per date range, or you can actually look for a specific cell phone or email to see if that's gone out. So this is going to give you a log on a daily basis, or whatever you'd like it to be. You get to pick the date range, or you can look up by name. So any email or text that was sent from Adam to your clients. And this is demo, so I don't have anything, so I can't click on it. Clean upload documents. So as you know, you can clean up your upload documents, you can delete them. So now we've added a year. So if you want to say you want to delete all your old documents, maybe all your tax returns dated back to say 2010, you can do a search for all of them at the same time, so you can easily delete them all. So we added a year is what we added. Company, we have a few international people, so we've added the international address to the company page. We have a province and country. The password, that one right there is, we've already talked about. That wasn't supposed to be there, where it says temporary password must be changed upon login. That's if you, on the user page, if you set a password up for your employee, as soon as they log in, they're going to have to change it to a more secure password, just that they know. Company uploads, same thing. All we did is add the drag and drop feature. Already demonstrated that. Send text messages. Okay, this is new. So as you know, or you should have known anyways, that we've always been able to send text to our clients, but they were coming via email out of Adam, and they were going to their phone as a text. And that's why we needed the cell phone and the cell phone provider. So, and that still works, but if you also want to just send a natural text, just like if you were sending a text from your phone to your friend's phone, now you can do that with Adam too. So we've integrated with a company called Twilio, which is an SMS API company, and now we're able to send text through Adam to your clients, and all we have to do is have their cell phone number. We don't need a cell phone provider anymore. So if they're constantly changing providers and you're not doing a good job capturing that, Now you still can stay in touch with them via text using just their cell phone. But to get it to work, what you have to do is you have to set this up with the company Twilio. So you got to go to twilio.com. I have a complete, there's 3 videos, there's 3 steps to follow to get this to work. And so I have the video laid out. It's going to be in your video library. So it's going to be up here in the help menu. And then you go to training videos and you're going to scroll down to the bottom and it's going to say Twilio setup, and it walks you through step by step. There's just 3 steps. So you're just going to go there. Now, the good part is you can send text just with a cell phone. So you're going to send a lot more text to your clients, so you'll be able to stay in touch with them easier. The bad part is there is a cost to it. We don't charge you anything for it, but Twilio, when you set up the account, it's just under a penny a text, okay? And then you also have to get a phone number. So you can pick your phone number if it's available, or they'll pick a phone number for you based on your location, and they'll give you an area code. And I go over that all in the setup. So it's just under, and then you have to pay, I think it's $1 or $2 for this per month for your cell phone, for the number that you pick. So it's not that expensive, and you control it. So it's all going to be on your credit card. So if you want to stop it, you can stop it. If you want to keep it going, you can keep it going. So it's going to be in admin. I don't want to get too detailed on the setup process, but once you get it set up, you'll have a feature here that you can actually send. You can always use Twilio to send text, or you can just use it when you don't have a cell phone provider, or you don't use it at all. Okay, so probably the best way to do it is if you do it when you don't have the cell phone provider. Then when Adam sends a text via email to the client, there is no cost because it's strictly out of Adam. But when you get Twilio involved, you're going to pay just under a penny a text. So, we'll definitely be using it, especially for peak or all the time. I may turn it down just strictly for Twilio if I want, if I don't think we have the correct cell phone provider. But it's up to you. You guys are going to control that, but there's an option you have for that. So you just have to make sure you set that up with a Twilio. And again, we have a step-by-step instructions on how to do that. Email text templates, kind of briefly went over that. So we have the new invoice template here. We've added it to the admin page. So here, this is where you can customize this both in English and Spanish to send it out if you're going to use our send invoice via email or text. The event status, client notifications. The only thing I want to point out here is, so right here, these are the client notifications. Now they're going to highlight in orange if you have any message back there, whether it's disabled or enabled, just so you can know that, hey, I have messages in here that I can that I've added at one point or another. So I just click on this link here, monthly payroll. You can scroll down here, and they got to be here somewhere. And there's a message right there. So somebody set something up at some point. So that's all it is, that highlight in orange, just indicating something's back there. Page 9, almost done here. Report permissions, refer a friend. So let me go to report. This is good if you guys are doing refer a friend. So hopefully you guys stayed on the line. Report permissions. There we go. So I scroll down here to the report refer a friend letter. So now you can customize the refer a friend letter, both in English and in Spanish. And again, it's Spanish. If the box is checked, it's going to send out a Spanish refer a friend letter. If it's not checked, it'll be whatever this column right here, you have it in most likely English. So you get to customize. You can put whatever you want. So you can change what we've been saying on our letter for years to you guys. Put down whatever you'd like to do now. New report also in here is under client information print hourly invoice, which we talked about. All I'm saying is here you can customize what shows up at the bottom of that, but you can do that in any one of these reports here. But that's the print hourly invoice. Users, I go to my users page. Now I can just link directly to my task notes section, so it's going to highlight in yellow if I have an open task. I click on it, I go right into that page, and then it's just showing that I have an open task note. And I can also drag and drop under my uploads right in here, the drag and drop feature. So anywhere I could browse before to put a document, now I can drag and drop to put a document. So this is the last one I'll show you under users. task types, client notifications. I'll go back to my admin page here. Task types. And again, if I have anything behind here, it's going to highlight in orange, indicating that there's a note or a task that I've created in admin. Just informing me of that. Reports. Anyone who's using Chrome, as you know, and you're probably annoyed with it, and I apologize, that Chrome did an update probably, at least 2 months ago. And when they did that, we weren't able to print PDF reports anymore. So that will be fixed. So when we push this update through, you will now won't have to use Internet Explorer to print your PDF reports. Chrome will work again. Employee prepare a report. I'm not going to go into these. All we did is on the prepare report, we added the column for payments and the column for balance, the balance due. The client portal login log, that tracks your clients that are logging in using your portal. I guess we had we were reflecting Eastern time zone. Now it's reflecting the correct time zone when they're punching in. Last page, page 10, mailers, client export. You can now filter by user and by business type, and the cell phone number. We added the domain. So if you're trying to send text to your clients using that, capturing that information from the mailer export, now we put that all in one column. So we have the cell phone plus the domain, so a phone number at vtex.com. So then you could then take that and whatever marketing campaign you're using. Maybe this won't be as important as it was before now that we have Twilio and you can just blast text using the cell phone number. And we added the spouse last name. We weren't aware that that wasn't in there. Not sure why it was overlooked, but it was. Management reports, returns with balance due. We've added a column for payment method and status added, the balance due invoice. We've added the billable hours. So now we're capturing billable hours in the transaction section. So now we've added those hours in the invoice. Whether you use it or not, that doesn't make a difference. Balance due statement, same thing. The hours will reflect there if you're putting them in the transaction section. Employee time card, we built a new one. If you do capture billable hours in the transaction information section, now you'll be able to run a report to see what hours your employees are doing or who they're working on, and this would be the new report for that. And then, as we talked about, the refer friend letter, now you can customize it in both English and in Spanish. And I made it through, I guess, about an hour and a half. Sorry about the problems in the beginning. Thanks for bearing with me. I appreciate all your feedback and your suggestions. That's why we're able to make all these changes, because a lot of them are coming from you guys, so keep them coming. And if we didn't add yours this year, I apologize, but we'll get it next year. So thanks again for all your support, for the whole Adam staff, and we hope you guys have happy holidays and a great tax season. And if you want, I'll leave this open so you guys can ask any questions if you need anything. And we are recording this, so for some of you, your staff that didn't see it, we'll have it available hopefully in the next day or two, and then we'll send you an email showing you where it's going to be. We're going to try to probably put it up in the help link, but we'll send you a link to it also so you can view it at your leisure, and anyone who has missed it. So thanks again, and have a great tax season.